Hello and welcome. I'm Saeed from StoryPlanet.net. Dive right into the essence of the most captivating books without reading them cover to cover. Whether you're on the go, at the gym, or just relaxing at home, we offer you a unique and enriching listening experience. Today, we are exploring the book, The Dawn of Everything, a creation by David Graeber and David Wengrow. The Dawn of Everything, 2021, offers a fresh perspective on human history, drawing from recent breakthroughs in anthropology and archaeology. The authors argue that these discoveries shake up our understanding of hierarchies, inequality, property, and governance. Before we delve into these revelations, it's interesting to note that David Graeber, an American anthropologist and anarchist, wrote books like Bullshit Jobs and Debt the First 5,000 Years. David Wengrow, a British archaeologist, focuses on Neolithic societies and the origins of states in Egypt and Mesopotamia. With 9 key ideas to unveil, brace yourself for a deep dive into this captivating book. On StoryPlanet.net. To start, the text discusses the origins of political hierarchies and the motivations behind individuals' involvement in them. The common misconception that prehistoric humans were primitive and lacked complex political thought is debunked. Recent research shows prehistoric societies engaged in political discussions and organization. The traditional view of early humans is challenged, revealing their sophistication in social structures and political systems, shaping modern concepts like property, human rights, and the state. History is continuously unfolding with updated understandings of early human civilization. Key idea number 1. Society did not develop in a linear manner. The text discusses 2 opposing stories about how human society developed. One by Rousseau, emphasizing equality before agriculture led to hierarchies, and another by Hobbes, highlighting innate human selfishness and historical hierarchy. Most social scientists find truth in both, but argue for a more complex view that includes non-linear development. The text challenges the linear narrative of societal progress by examining archaeological evidence and the idea that early societies were more varied and interesting than commonly believed. It encourages considering alternative views to Rousseau and Hobbes to better understand human social evolution. Key idea number 2. The indigenous critique from the Enlightenment era has had a lasting impact on modern theories. Indigenous leader Kandiaronk critiqued European society for its obsession with money, power imbalances, and poverty. His ideas inspired Enlightenment thinkers but were dismissed by European conservatives who labeled indigenous ideas as savage to justify their own societal advancements. The term egalitarian was used to describe societies without European civilization traits, possibly creating an idealized view of them. The complex history of domination systems requires understanding the emergence of kings and social hierarchies. Key idea number 3. Pre-agricultural life was more unpredictable than commonly thought. Various human-like species coexisted, and prehistoric humans were diverse physically and culturally. They roamed and gathered seasonally and did not show dominance like apes. The anthropological record helps challenge misconceptions about pre-agricultural humans' intellectual capabilities. The Namiquara people, studied by Claude Lévi-Strauss, showcased adaptable social structures depending on seasonal activities. Leadership roles shifted in farming and foraging scenarios. Social orders were fluid, with temporary kings possibly being early political actors. Questions remain about the establishment of permanent social hierarchies. Key idea number 4, erosion of freedoms, started with the emergence of ideas regarding the sacred and ownership. The text discusses how shared cultural norms across continents and freedom to disobey authority have eroded over time with the development of the idea of property. It suggests that both the concept of private property and the sacred involve exclusion, contributing to the loss of certain freedoms. The text aims to explore how these ideas have come to influence various aspects of human life, particularly in relation to cultural practices in different societies. Key idea number 5. Neighboring cultures influence each other's social institutions. Indigenous Californian communities were anti-agricultural and rejected practices like chattel slavery seen in Northwest Pacific communities. They upheld values of self-reliance and industry, avoiding luxury foods and self-aggrandizement. This rejection had political dimensions as they resisted the enslavement of others. Social institutions were developed to protect against slavery influence from neighboring regions, highlighting the emergence of hierarchy and equality as complementary values. This cultural division sheds light on how human freedoms were influenced by community values regarding entrenched hierarchies and human relationships. Key idea number 6. As settlements adopted agriculture, their highland neighbors did not follow the same path. Ancient Athenians had a ritual of letting gardens wilt on rooftops to symbolize the death of Adonis. This ritual was a play farming activity representing the early stages of agriculture. The transition to agriculture was slow, and communities combined farming with foraging and hunting. The domestication of cereals like wheat took approximately 3,000 years. Neolithic societies faced consequences of relying solely on farming, suffering from starvation and violence. Women likely played a significant role in early farming practices. The shift to farming did not necessarily lead to the introduction of land ownership. Communal management of fields was common among agricultural communities. Key idea number 7. Urban centers initially lacked immediate hierarchies when people settled in them. Early cities were not hierarchical, with evidence of collective chores and popular assemblies in Mesopotamian, Hittite, Phoenician, Philistine, and Israelite settlements. Archaeological findings in Mesopotamia and Teotihuacan show an even distribution of wealth and diversified districts without centralized leadership. Smaller hill towns developed ahistorical elites with warrior aristocracies, rejecting some urban features like writing in places like Arslan Tepe in Turkey. Key idea number 8. Early kings demonstrated their authority through violent displays as a way to assert their cosmic power and justify their rule. The text explores the emergence of states through principles of social power, control of violence, information, and charisma. It discusses examples like the Olmec and Shavyun-de-Huntar civilizations, highlighting the role of violence in state formation as seen in ancient Egypt. It also mentions administrative control in Neolithic villages and questions the development of kings and ruling classes. The text suggests that the state was not inevitable, but a recent combining of these forms of domination and may not be permanent. Key idea number 9. The indigenous critique has persisted in various forms due to experimentation and reaction. The indigenous critique of European colonist political systems was shaped by centuries of debate and conflict among North American indigenous societies. Cahokia, a major city in modern-day Illinois, reached its peak around 1050 CE with 40,000 inhabitants before a mysterious event led to its downfall. This highlighted that state formation is not inevitable and societies can choose different paths. The backlash against Cahokia led to values like political debate and anti-authoritarianism in subsequent North American communities. These ideas influenced European colonists and Enlightenment thinkers, shaping modern political thought. The development of societies is not linear, but involves fits and starts, trials and errors, emphasizing ongoing political evolution and experimentation. In conclusion, early human societies were more complex than thought, with no linear progression to modern states, but rather periods of experimentation. This highlights that history is ongoing, leaving room for change. Thank you for listening to this summary. If you enjoyed this exploration, we invite you to discover other fascinating books on storyplanet.net. Don't wait any longer. A multitude of books, stories, and knowledge await you there. See you soon on storyplanet.net.